Hey guys, welcome back to the FBLA handbook. Today I'm gonna answer a question that I know a lot of people have, especially as competition season gets closer. If I had only 30 days left before my FBLA competition, how would I study? Whether you're competing in intro to business, marketing, finance, economics, or almost any other objective test, this is the exact plan I would follow. The first thing is, I want to say this. 30 days is actually a lot more time than most people think. A lot of students look at the calendar and panic because they feel like they're behind. But the truth is, 1 month of focused studying can make a huge difference. The key isn't studying all day, it's studying consistently and making sure you're actually learning from each study session. So here's exactly how I'd spend those 30 days. Okay, let's dive into week one, learning the material. The first week is all about building a foundation. I wouldn't jump straight into taking dozens of practice tests, because if you don't understand the material yet, you're mostly just guessing. Instead, I'd focus on learning the major topics covered in my event. For example, if I were competing in intro to business, I'd review management, marketing, finance, human resources, entrepreneurship, operations, and economics. As I study, I wouldn't just read through the information once. I'd ask myself questions like, what does this concept actually mean? Why is this important? And can I explain it without looking at my notes? If the answer is no, then I need to review it again. I'd also keep a notebook where I write down every unfamiliar vocabulary word. FBLA objective tests include a lot of business terminology, so learning those definitions early makes the rest of your studying much easier. I'd also make flashcards for important terms, whether you use the paper flashcards or an app. Reviewing them for a few minutes every day adds up very quickly. By the end of week one, my goal isn't perfection. My goal is simply to understand the material well enough that I can recognize the major concepts. Week two, start practicing. Okay, now that I have a foundation, it's time to start applying what we've learned. This is when I begin taking practice tests and answering review questions. But here's the biggest mistake I see people make. They finish a practice test, check their score, and that's it. They never look back at the questions they missed. That's a huge missed opportunity. Your score isn't the most important part of a practice test. The review is. Every incorrect answer tells you something you don't know yet. Whenever I miss a question, I'd ask myself, why was my answer wrong? Why is the correct answer right? What concept was this testing? Then I write a short explanation in a notebook. Over time, that notebook becomes one of the best study resources you have because it's completely personalized to your weaknesses. If you keep missing the same types of questions, you'll start seeing patterns, and those patterns tell you exactly what to study next. Moving on to week three, focusing on weak areas. By the third week, you should have a pretty good idea of where you're struggling. Maybe finance questions are giving you trouble. Maybe marketing questions all seem to blend together. Maybe you keep confusing management terms. Instead of reviewing every topic equally, I'd spend most of my time improving on my weakest areas. This is where you'll usually see the biggest improvement in your scores. It's tempting to study the topics you're already good at because it feels productive, but the fastest way to improve is by working on the concepts that challenge you. I'd still review everything briefly, but my priority would be strengthening my weakest subjects. I'd also continue taking practice questions every day so I could measure whether I was improving. Okay, lastly, week four. Now on to the final week. Now it's time to prepare for the real thing. During the final week, I start taking full length practice tests under realistic conditions. Set a timer for 2 hours, put my phone away, sit somewhere quiet, and complete the test without stopping. This helps you practice managing your time and staying focused. Many students know the material, but struggle because they've never practiced answering questions under time pressure. After each practice test, I'd review every missed question at least one time. At this point, I'm not trying to learn dozens of new topics. I'm reinforcing them by everything I've studied. I'd also make sure to get plenty of sleep, stay organized, and avoid cramming the night before the competition. So let's talk about study habits that actually work. Throughout all 3 days, I'd focus on active studying. That means doing things that you force your brain to recall information instead of just looking at it. Some of my favorite study methods are taking practice questions every day, reviewing flashcards, explaining concepts out loud as if I'm teaching someone else, writing summaries from memory, reviewing mistakes regularly, and even just studying for 30 to 60 focused minutes every day is usually more than enough than trying to study for 5 hours once a week. Consistency is what makes a difference. Here are some mistakes I would avoid. There are also a few mistakes that I'd make sure not to make. First, I wouldn't spend all my time rereading notes. Reading, rereading feels productive, but it doesn't always tell you whether you've actually learned the material. Second, I wouldn't ignore bad practice test scores. Getting questions wrong is part of learning. Every missed question is another opportunity to improve before competition day. Third, I wouldn't compare myself to other competitors. Everyone studies at a different pace. Focus on improving your score a little bit each week. Finally, I wouldn't wait until the last few days to start practicing. The earlier you begin applying your knowledge, the more confident you'll be during the actual competition. Okay, well, if I only had 30 days before my FBLA competition, this is exactly how I'd prepare. The plan is simple. Learn the material, practice consistently, focus on your weak areas, and simulate real competition. If you stick to that plan, you'll be surprised how much progress you can make in just 1 month. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe because I'm uploading a new FBLA videos every week to help you prepare for the competition. And if there's any specific event you'd like me to cover next, whether it's intro to business, marketing, business law, economics, or something else, leave a comment below. I'd love to make a study guide or even a video for it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.